So at the beginning of this week, I played Lethal Company for the first time. Link will be in the description of whatever video is available at the time, and I wanted to make the guy. I needed all the colors, which is just oranges, grays, and yellow, and I needed to make an armature. And because I was making an armature, it was the good time to start using actual pliers instead of just my fingers. I make just arms, legs, and a body, and then connect them at the waist area with some aluminum foil that is compressed to a point where it can actually be wrapped around the waist. And that wrapping around the waist is reinforced until it can't really be moved that much. But since it still jiggles around, I cover it with a base layer of the body-colored clay, bake it, and then mess with the positioning of the legs. Once I have all the leg positioning messed with, I can then begin to cover the legs in the same orange clay that I covered the body in, except this time, instead of it being a quick layer, thin, it is the actual final part that will be seen for the rest of the video. These worms get slapped onto the wire and then blend into the piece of clay at the top of the body area. Then I bulk out the groin and ass area in order to make it look more accurate, I guess is the best term, and these get blended in as well. And once those are blended in, I can then add on to the body part, the chest and back area, adding more clay to there as well. However, I for whatever reason did not record the part of me bulking out the back, so you'll just have to know that it did happen. I then fix up the area on the front and back to make it as accurate as possible, and then I blend the front and the back additions to the suit together, and then I make some shoes. I put the shoes on the little company guy, and I wrapped his ankles right at the base of his shoe with a worm of clay to act as the little lip from the leg to the shoe, to make the shoes look more how they look in the game, which is kind of like, it's like a hazmat suit. It's keeping the stuff out, so it's like on top of the stuff. This gets blended in on both sides of the shoe to make it look like one solid piece. And once that is done, I can begin my work on other things. These other things is just the belt. The belt is a similar colored gray piece that gets wrapped around the waist, and it is literally just that simple. Once that's done, I just push it down a little bit to flatten it out somewhat, and then I bend the arms into shape. And then, once the arms are bent into a proper shape, I then bend the other arm into the same proper shape. And once that is also bent into the proper shape, I cut off the wire that is excess and is not needed. After that, I place orange clay along the wire, same as what was done with the legs, and that also gets blended in. It's basically the same process, except it's a slightly different size, and it's also the arm and not the leg, actually, so the elbow is on the opposite side, and also it happens on both arms. I don't really know what to say at this point. I'm just rambling, man. This gets blended in until there is no obvious gap or seam, and once there is no obvious gap or seam, I can then begin to work on the hands. The hands are the same color as the shoes, and they are just gloves. While the characters in game have 4 fingers, the scale I'm working at doesn't allow me to make that easily, so I just made 3 because I was lazy. And same as the shoes, I wrapped a little coil around the wrist area and blended into the rest of the hand. And then I repeated this process to the other hand / glove / whatever I'm calling it now. And it worked the exact same as it did on the other side. The blending in on both sides again makes it look similar to the other side, except I actually coil these hands into fists, which I forgot to say before, but it is kind of important. Now that I have practically the entire base body done, I can begin work on whatever the backpack thing is, most likely oxygen, or whatever air is needed to breathe, which is just 2 yellow tanks with a bit of gray on the bottom part of it. This gray gets put onto both of the bottom parts, and then a light gray worm is wrapped around the start of the little area between the yellow and the dark gray, and then one more towards the top. And then after this is done to both of the little canisters, the canisters get smushed together. Yeah, this takes a little bit though, so just gotta wait it out. Now that the canisters are smushed together, I can then smush it onto the back, except not yet. I have to add little nozzles at the top for the stuff inside of it to actually go into the helmet. Now it gets smushed onto the back, and now that it's smushed onto the back, I can add little nameplates. I tried to match them to colors that I've seen, but since I was not paying much attention to the nameplates, they might be wrong. After that, I get 2 straps and wrap them around both the front of the body and the canisters to make this look more haphazard. Well, more haphazardly put together, and I do 2 of these worms to make it more secure, because it was definitely not secure the first time. Now that I'm worried with stability, I make a quick base out of a light brown, and then make little indents into it, because that's what it looked like the main ship floor design was. Yeah. Now that I have that floor design done, I can then begin work on the mask. I start the mask by having a little piece that attaches it from, it's like the neck pretty much, and then the head is made. It's just kind of a circle. It's kind of like a bucket, I guess. Then the 2 earpieces are put on either side, just smacked on there as little squares, and then out of a dark bluish, I make a ovular piece, bake it so that it's hard, and then smush it right into the head. Now that I have all of that, I can add the 2 dark brown circular pieces for the actual stuff that makes it look like a gas mask. I don't really know what it's called. And once that's done, I can make 2 worms and attach it under the little ear pieces all the way back to the nozzle in the back of the tube canister thingies. And with that, it's ready to be baked. And once it's baked, it's done.